Hello and welcome back to another Sinner Report, the Sunday night news and nonsense report. My buddy Spatry is suffering from a little bit of the flu or bug or something. It must be the heat in Florida, but we've agreed to do just a little talk for this weekend. So, Spatry, my man, how you doing?
Summer illnesses are the worst. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Haven't been able to hold down food at all for past few days.
Oh my!
It's been awful. But I've been able to drink water. So tell me, how about that new Microsoft marijuana?
Can you please fill me in on that?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull that up. That I couldn't believe that when I saw this article. Hold on. Apparently, Satya Nadella. I think we need to start calling him Sativa Nadella. As watershed industry moments go, this one could be defining. Microsoft is welcoming marijuana compliance kind financial into its Azure government cloud platform, marking a legitimizing first for the legal cannabis business, while positioning the technology giant at the vanguard of a potentially lucrative new industry. Interesting stuff. They also bought LinkedIn. Toss, who uses LinkedIn?
I guess a lot of people do. I don't really use it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
But this just confirms what I've known all along. They've been smoking way too much over there in Redmond.
I'm sorry, all this smoke here. Hang on. Oh.
Goodness.
That's pretty funny. All right, so we talked briefly in chat room about these new Ubuntu snaps, the snap packaging thing. And from what I understand, I have not tested. I believe you said you did. I think this has the future, or this is the future of an app packaging delivery system for the Linux desktop to simplify things, where each piece of software has its own libraries and dependencies built in specifically for that package across all Linux distros. Therefore, I believe simplifying things, and best of all, you have a choice. Now, if what I read is correct, if you try this and don't like it, for example, in Ubuntu, if you try the new Snap package and you don't like it, it doesn't really affect your deb packaging system. So, does this sound about right, Spatry?
Correct. Basically, what it does is it installs an application, and it has its own. File system that's mounted at a loop device, such as loop 0, loop 1, that sort of thing. And for those of you who are using Arch or Manjaro, just go on the Arch wiki and look up Snapd. That is one word, SNAPD, and snapped. And you will snap. Take my word for it when you try this out. But no, but the guide is perspicuous in detail, as always. Tells you everything you need to know for at least getting started with it. It's straightforward, and pretty much you just follow the guide. You install the packages that are required from the AUR, and basically it works. I was able to, and if any of you have ever tried to, like, for instance, build the Atom text viewer from the AUR, even on my processor, it took a good 20 minutes to compile. Okay, whereas you can download the Snap package and have the Atom, available to you in just a few seconds if you have a fast internet connection, because it is a large file. I was surprised though in how it works, but installing packages, I found, was very easy. Removing them is not so intuitive, because first you need to mount that particular loop system before you can actually remove the packages themselves. So it does need a little bit of work, but it is a good idea. And one thing I think that would really make this shine is if somebody were to come up with a GUI front end for this that would work across all platforms, so that you can not only manage the Snap packages that are installed, find Snap packages, but also be able to mount any loop devices that it creates, so that you can easily remove those packages.
Well,
It's a great idea, but it needs work.
it is new,
And I
but
will,
yeah.
as soon as I do get better, I will have a video demonstrating this on Manjaro, and I'll even make a suggestion. I'll even put in a feature
Yeah.
request that they possibly consider adding snap packages to PAMAC only once there is a reasonable number of packages that would
Yeah.
warrant having that addition.
Well, again, with as a promoter and advisor of Linux desktops for beginners, I think this has great potential for the future to simplify things across the board, no matter what Linux operating system you are using. So I would say it's good news. So yeah.
All right. Let me see, what else have I done? Earlier this week, before I got sick, I installed Linux Mint 18 in VMware and gave that a little bit of a whirl. And surprisingly, that's looking pretty good. And you would have to know that I'm understandably curious about the direction Linux Mint's been taking, since I've mentioned time and again in many of my videos how Linux Mint was that turning point. One day I was watching the Oz Gully show. He suggested that I try Linux Mint. And this was at a time when I was really pissed off at Windows because I was always getting viruses and they were getting past Norton and everything. And so I tried Linux Mint and I was blown away that it ran all of my devices on my compact CQ56 laptop that I was running at the time. And,
Yeah.
I was blown away because I'd never seen a Linux distribution do that before. And so I took a look at the latest Linux Mint, and I'm going to be doing a video on that very soon too. I've been promising everybody that I would be doing it. Ran into a few little niggles, but I like the direction that they continue to take. They're at the forefront. They took GNOME Shell and made it usable. And so I like what it brings to the table, but there were a few caveats I ran into, and if I can reduplicate those issues that I had, I'll be able to bring those up in my usability test that I'll be putting up in the next few days.
Well, just a couple things before we go into the nonsense. Like I said, I know you're not feeling too well, but this may amuse you, Spatch, or may make you feel better. Windows 10 is starting to annoy me to the point where, at least on my production...
Did you mean malware 10?
Yes, you call it what you want. But
in this season, we're supposed to be convincing you to kick Windows to the curb.
One day, if this snap packaging system really works, where I don't have to hunt and solve puzzles, I may do that. But you may be amused to know that I'm thinking Windows 10 has annoyed me so much that I'm thinking about, at least on my production machine, about reverting back to Windows 8.1. These forced updates is really...
All right. Well, let me ask you specifically, what kind of things is it doing that it's really convincing you to revert to an older version of Windows?
The forced updates where I'm not expecting, like I need to get something done for whatever reason. I have to go into Windows and okay, well, now it's downloading updates in the background, slowing it down. I have to wait for the reboots, wash, rinse, and repeat, as you say. And
all right, so it doesn't give you an option to reboot later, or it wants to reboot when it tells you that it's going to reboot?
Well, it does say, would you like to reboot now or later? But see, in the past with Windows 8 or 8 or our favorite Windows 7, will be fair, at least I had a choice to download updates when I wanted to, not slowing down my system in the background. Because Microsoft took away that choice, it irks me more because it wasn't necessary. I mean, just notify me, hey, there are updates available. You can download now or later. Now, I know with security patches, you really shouldn't wait. And that's true in Linux too. But the point is, Patrick, they took that away. And my system just is not running as smooth.
That's because Microsoft knows better.
Yes, that's why they're going to be smoking marijuana, sure. Anyway, it's I lost control, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, just the last thing before we go into the well, for one thing, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And for all the folks out there who asked me to talk about Mac and Apple technology, I don't use Apple or Mac. I'm happy with what I have so far with Windows. Well, more Linux than Windows now, but I did a podcast last week with the singer Stephanie Forian. She uses only Apple technology because she also was fed up with Windows. Now she's in Germany, so we did the podcast. So she was there after midnight. She was up for it, so we did. So check it out. Anybody out there who's curious about Apple or Mac versus Windows. And that's it for that part of the segment. Yeah. Let's do nonsense.
Well, shocker there that there are people that are willing to go to Mac. We got people as refugees going to Mac anywhere but Windows. Even when Mom and I were at Best Buy, it turns out that there are more and more people that are interested in buying the Chromebooks these days too.
Yeah. Now she did say that the systems, the Mac, she's a MacBook Pro. She will say the stuff is still high priced, but you know what? Just go to the podcast. I'll have a link below. It's not that long, about 30 minutes or less. And I threw in a special Arnold Schwarzenegger impression at the end there for you guys. So check it out.
All right, what you got?
Nonsense. Well, Spatry, do we have any cat lovers out there? Because if we do, and if you live in Denver, apparently a Colorado company is looking to help cat owners by releasing wine for cats. Yeah. And you sprinkle in some marijuana with the wine, and your cat's going to have a very good time for the next 6 days.
Wine for cats? You got to be kidding me, right?
I kid you not. This is for
alcoholic
real.
beverages for kitty cats?
Yep. Meow.
Couldn't that be use?
I don't know. Do a Google search, and you guys tell me. All right. What else do I have here? Dissatisfied. This is in Michigan. A dissatisfied woman drop kicks birthday cake at supermarket because she was dissatisfied with the custom birthday cake. Okay.
I'm sure that isn't the first time that's ever happened before.
Well,
she drop kicks the cake because she's not happy with the decorations.
Yeah, I got your happy birthday right here. She was practicing, I don't know, maybe she was practicing for a black belt. But yeah. I have one last thing. I'm reading this, but I guess this is true. This is the actual headline. I do not make these up. These are all real. Spatry, a dad uses helicopter to extract son's loose tooth. I mean, I know the cost of going to a dentist is high, but this is a bit much.
I have to ask. He uses a helicopter, like not a battery operated one, but a real helicopter.
No. There's a picture of a chopper, a real chopper, a small one, not like military grade, and he has a string attached to his son's loose tooth. Yeah, this is what the dad did. Like, boy, that kid's got some very strong teeth, let me tell you. But yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not unheard of for a parent to take a string and, attach it to the door and slam the door shut, to pull out.
Well, duh, but a helicopter? Yeah, son, hang on. Is that tooth bothering you? Let me just go down to the airport and get that chopper. We'll take care of it. I'll pull it on Schwarzenegger and pull it out. Yeah.
Well, that kid's going to have terrible memories for the rest of his life.
I could say more.
Get off my mumble.
All right. On that note, yeah, that's not what I would recommend. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. No. Spatry, I hope you're feeling better next week. Everybody here on the Cup of Linux Mumble server, you can join us every night if you wish. It's free, and if you're using Windows or Mac, come along for the ride. Normally, we are more energetic. But every Sunday night here, the Sunday Night News and Nonsense Report with your hosts, Spatry, and myself, TOS Today. We'll catch you next week.
All right. See you next week. And remember, kids, friends don't let friends use Windows.
All the smoke here. Bye.
That's because Sativa Nadella has been token a little bit too much in the. Yeah,
Goodbye.
really.
Yeah, goodbye.
Yeah, bye.